Hello, thank you for joining me. My name is Candace Sanderson. I am a retired psychologist whose life changed when I began channeling angels, guides, and many more non physical messengers. I often make these contacts through out of body experiences that I learned from the Monroe Institute in Virginia. Check out my books under the Reluctant Messenger brand on Amazon. And I am honored that all 8 books reached that #1 bestseller spot when they were published. I also welcome you to visit my website, CandaceSanderson.com, or watch some of the programs I've recently been on through Gaia TV, including the documentary, The Consciousness Connection, which is also available through Amazon Prime Movies. In our last episode, I shared a vision and a message about angels and guides who come to our rescue when life throws us a curveball. Recently, my guidance team showed up again as I made a post on social media. This interaction made me realize hope has arrived. A welcome gift indeed for these often troubled times. Let me elaborate. On May 18th of this year, 2025, I posted an older message. As I read it, listen to the words. It talks of an awakening and assistance that is headed our way. The heart of Gaia hears the call from the Creator. She is awakening and preparing to blow away the clouds of forgetfulness. She brings back to her shores the great ones who walked the earth millennia ago. This post brought back my support team. It brought them closer than ever. But first, let me give some context. Recently, several individuals have pointed out that my channeling abilities are unique. Before I began channeling, and even after, I knew very little about the subject. It was not until I watched my recent interview on Divine Science, Season 2, Episode 3 on channeling and Gaia TV, that I started to realize they might be right. My connections are different than those connections from most channelers. I do not allow non-physical entities to use my physical body to speak. I am always fully aware as I walk that thin line between the 5D and the 3D. The 5D, if you're new to my channel, I use the term 5D to describe anything beyond the 3D. It refers to that unending field of energy where everything is connected. A classic channeler's voice and mannerisms change when they connect with spirit. And often they step aside while the communications occur, so the channeler has little or no knowledge of what they said. That is not me. And that might be why the messengers have labeled me the reluctant messenger. I split my awareness during my 5D adventures, and that allows me to receive messages, to participate in visions through that out-of-body experience, to record my experiences, and all at the same time observing everything. But then there is also one who oversees this, the puppet master, the master weaver, the orchestra conductor, the movie director. But this is where I will use psychic tools that I have developed to stop the action in real time. I can then rewind it, fast forward it, zoom in or zoom out. These tools provide a perspective that is far more expansive and detailed than what my five physical senses could ever achieve. Why am I so different? I do not know. Perhaps it is an evolutionary change where the channeler is no longer that special person with these skills. It can be any one of us regular people, as described by the subtitle of my first book, The Reluctant Messenger. That subtitle is An Ordinary Person's Extraordinary Journey into the Unknown. After all, the messengers did give me that book title. My messengers tell me that channeling is not woo-woo, nor is it even psychic. It is not magical, although it certainly feels that way at times. Learning to view my experiences through the lens of energy, as my messengers have taught me to do, demystifies these 5D events. Let me share how the process works for me. Reading the words in this older message about the heart of Gaia invited more information to flow. That is not unusual. In fact, that's usually how channeling works for me. Although I thought I had chosen this passage to post, my guides had suggested it, and I became their instrument to make it happen. Of course, I have the first line of refusal, free will, and all that good stuff. Because time and space are constructs of our 3D world and not the 5D, that message about the heart of Gaia is still out there, and it always has been. I pulled the right thread to bring it into my current awareness. My messengers often speak of an innate GPS system that each person has that records our 5D travels. I cover that topic in multiple videos you can find on my YouTube channel under the playlist tab. That thread of communication about the heart of Gaia is pinned and tracked by this system. Once we have made a 5D connection, that link is always there. You can continue where you left off even years later by locating that pin, that bookmark on your 5D GPS screen. The 5D does not operate by the same physics as the 3D, so clock and calendar time, as well as space, do not exist on the other side. When you step into those 5D frequencies, depending on the depth you travel, you realize something. You are in a different reality. Do you remember that old TV show, The Twilight Zone? When you get to the 5D, you get that Twilight Zone feeling because everything is so different from our earthly lives. You think something and immediately it will manifest. You travel back in time or move to the future, not something we can easily do in the 3D, right? Because of these differences between 3D and 5D, early on, we often struggled to navigate these new realms because we default to the only thing we know, our clunky physical senses. But they do not work well in the 5D. So it becomes challenging to make sense of this new dimension, this new reality. It takes a while to adapt, but hopefully most of us will. This acclimation occurs through what quantum physicists call entrainment, where we find a shared rhythm, a shared 5D to 3D frequency. You can actually see entrainment in action. Not long ago, I helped my granddaughter do a metronome experiment as her 6th grade science project. You use multiple metronomes set at the same beats per minute. As you start each one separately, the room becomes chaotic as each metronome strikes at the beat, all at different times. But within a few minutes, the chaos becomes orderly because the metronome pendulums begin swinging together in perfect rhythm with each other. When all of them strike simultaneously, they have reached a state of entrainment, a shared rhythm. Likewise, our energy field changes to match the frequencies of the 5D, and that builds with each visit to the 5D. As we become in sync, this vibrational match, this entrainment, opens the door for meaningful interactions and conversations. Often we miss these changes in real time because of their subtle and incremental nature. But over time, we realize we grow accustomed to these newer, expansive frequencies, and then something wonderful happens. Some might say we become one with spirit. When this happens, this totally new and strange place, this bizarro world, starts to become familiar. We realize we feel at home in the twilight zone. It is at this point that some of us discover a hidden truth. This 5D reality is our home. It is our source. It is where our true essence, our spirit, originated. What we carry with us into our earthly home as newborns is but a tiny fraction of our true nature, our true self. We come from this endless field of energy, a reality composed of non-physical frequencies and vibrations. When you find yourself feeling at home in the 5D, pause, smile, acknowledge it. Because within that pause, you might just find that your welcoming crew comes a little closer, speaks a little louder. I assume they must be saying, "Thank goodness she is awakening." My messengers told me that entrainment equals awakening. That's an operational definition that makes a lot of sense to me. You know, as this information for this episode enters my mind, I realize none of it is new to me. The messengers have spoon-fed me this over the years, but this is the first time that they have woven those pieces together like a beautiful tapestry. Each thread is unique, a slightly different texture, color, and length. Each thread is beautiful, but when those threads weave together into a tapestry, its beauty and intricate design takes my breath away. This is the result of entrainment. These entrainment threads accompany us when we return to the 3D. I've wondered, perhaps this is that silver cord that the Bible talks about. These divine threads of entrainment weave into our energy body, permanently connecting us to the 5D, creating a bridge where we can freely travel between these dimensions. That in itself is remarkable. But let's pause and look closer at this. Yes, our energy body is entrained with these new frequencies that operate as a lifeline to the 5D, a bridge to cross-dimensional barriers. But what does that mean? It means we are the bridge. Let that sink in. Through this partnership with our angels, guides, our higher self, and many more 5D non-physical entities, we access wisdom. You can feel this collaboration And one day, maybe when you are just hip deep into 3D life, you step outside your day in and day out pattern of stimulus and response. Your sibling or spouse says or does something to push your buttons as only they know how to do. But you do not react the way you normally do. Instead, you pause. You choose a different action. Instead of being stuck in that predictable roller coaster ride, you realize this is not working. So you try something else, something different, a new beginning, a new approach. Our guides can help us find a new path, a new direction that is alive with hope and new possibilities. The question is, are you ready to listen to guidance, to explore uncharted territories, to discover new perspectives that might enrich your life? When the time is right, your angels and guides are ready to answer your call. When this happens, take a deep breath and pay attention because hope has arrived. I hope you enjoyed this episode. In the next program, I will share the messages I received after that Heart of Gaia post. Until then, remember the importance of kindness and how kind words are the foundation for hope. Thank you for sharing, subscribing, and commenting. Until next time, goodbye.